face!
Cruel. 1 coin or 2, noble spirit? 1 coin or 2? May the soul of Astartes smile upon you, kind stranger.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies.
Treasure!
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. My elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Sicil, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite What? Oh, you mean Sicil. Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Sicil. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of Pergamon. The what of what now? Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. You see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice, they occasionally... Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years, those blasted skeletons of all... Jake, murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. That depends. Ah, the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. Marvelous.
You there? Cut it out!
Golly gosh! One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Sicile with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. I do declare such a sight is rather rare around here. But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure. I'm the mayor's cat, don't you know? Born and raised on velvets and viands of most exquisite varieties. Maxine rhymes with queen, after all, and dearest. That is hardly a coincidence. But of course, darling, be my guest. Heavens forbid. No, fear is rather too strong a term there, hunter dearest. The predator's instinct is a trait we share, you and I. And though those rancid ramblers may not be quite as easy to put to the claw as mice are, I assure you, they are just as easily outwitted. Oh, this quaint little town is a tad too parochial for one of my more urbane tastes. But one has to make do, hasn't one? The fresh sea air does go to great lengths to invigorate one's spirit, that much I'll admit. And it is rather jolly to watch the ships sail in laden with all kinds of exotic wares, full of the little treats the mayor likes to spoil me with. Darling man, he dotes on me so.
What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Sicile's crown. The beacon of culture and learning in our fair city. My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. It brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
This isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too. Most promising.
In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal. Be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicile toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own. This kindest of souls taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
This isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library? Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh.
Kejdenor.
Need something more
Brief
advanced.
history of sorcery still hasn't been returned.
The
Celeron
Encyclopedia
will have to pay yet
Daemonium.
another
I
fine.
know it by heart. No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. Omnes autem mali daemonis quam. What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boatmen of Sicile. Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken, for you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces nonetheless. Why? Simply because you hunt Source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests frequent the same shadowy pools of infamy. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not, I'd have been decimated, body and soul, long since. This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus of wizardry I offer you. The might of the magician's mastermind. On one condition. That on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions. Give me your word on this, and I'll weave you spells.
Returned. Teleron will have to
Very
pay
well.
yet another-
There will be no deals with demons.
Agreed. Nothing good ever came from bargaining with those devils anyway.
Most gratifying. I see you are firm of purpose, and thereby ready to descend. Descend into the madness that is sorcery. Into the depths where demons dance. Gladly shall I follow you into the abyss. Onward, blood and triumph await.
Volume 1, Volume 2. Where has the third one gone? Little legs in the night.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You are the Source Hunter, are you not? The hero the whole of Sightseal is abuzz about. The talk of the town. The juiciest grape on the grapevine. Such a pleasure to meet you. A delight. No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. Mendius at your service. What is my profession? Well, I'll tell you what it used to be, and that is a man of medicine. But what does a man of medicine do but mend what has first been broken? They call the undead a problem, my friend, but those who know the ways of the Fabulous Five see no problems. They see opportunities. Oh, it's not merely an opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to become better. To become the full extent of the promise that is locked inside of each and every one of us. So first of all, let me ask you this question. Do you like adventure?
Of course I do. How could someone in my profession not?
Some could not, because they are professionals, not adventuring daydreamers.
Clearly, two strong personalities stand before me. Two who voice their opinions with vigor when they differ. What else could I expect from mighty Source Hunters? Too bad your line of work comes with such measly recompense. Am I right? The wage of a mere soldier. Now, between you and me, tell me truthfully, don't you sometimes wish you could earn more?
Well, I can't say that I haven't.
And I can't say that I have. I'm content with what I have.
Well, don't quarrel about it on my account. Still, if a matter is divisive, it is divisive mainly because it is alluring. And riches are so very alluring. Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a Source Hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes.
There's no shame in following directives if your masters are worthy of your trust.
True enough. We serve a just cause, so why wouldn't we follow our orders?
Come now. I refuse to believe such a uniquely skilled individual would settle for a puppet's role. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding. Am I right? And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. Ah, the Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers' guild in Riverlon. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my abilities. What a gem of a question. Straight as an arrow, sharp as a switchblade. Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship, to join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate, by now the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? Work hard. Fulfill contracts. Enlist new knights, and swiftly shall you rise through the ranks. You will better yourself.
Hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before you. Yes, she and I have a history. That's hardly a secret anymore. I quite doubt it was even a secret from Jake while he lived. As easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or I assure you that the affair was never so steamy and sordid as the busybodies around town make it out to be. Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection for each other. He had his interests, she had hers, and there was little passion left between them. Certainly not enough to fuel a murder. I am the Duke of Ferrell, though I suppose my name is in the mouths of enough ruthless gossipers that you've heard of me by now. It's very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Counselor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wished the man harm.
A source hunter? I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts could tip as miserably as this lot. I think I'm one of the last folks to hear him alive. That awful scream has been ringing in my ears ever since. And with the room where it all happened still under quarantine, we've a constant reminder of exactly what happened. Though that's the question, isn't it? What exactly did happen? We all thought it was Esmeralda who checked into that room, and the Duke that followed her in. I was washing up and nudging the last of the lushes out of the door when a cloaked woman rushed in right past me. I never got a good look at her, damn my eyes, but I figured the way she disappeared that she was visiting one of the lodgers. Lucky for the perpetrators, I was rinsing bottles in the back when the terrible deed took place and saw nothing more. I'm not proud to say I ducked under the counter and damn well stayed there till I heard Ivad fling that door open. But I was paralyzed with fright. Been at the King Crab nearly 10 years now, personally. Seen every character you can imagine, from bums to wizards, passed through these doors for a pint and a place to rest.
Never saw you in the King Crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in, being the King Crab's foremost patron ever since. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I've serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1.
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days. I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Wartruce my regards next time you see him. You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cross paths with you Westies all that often, but it's always a pleasure when we do. Medora's the name. Retired, or so the Order keeps trying to tell me, but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your side. Heavens hornets! That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicile. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs without backup. By the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. Fortunately for me, that particular wizard has a penchant for things that go boom in the night. I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles, but I'd lost him before I made it into the Sicile hinterlands. Well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now. But perhaps that's where you come in. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town. I've been scouting Sicile for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the Counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator. More than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod to topple a small mountain. There's Mayor Cecil's doings for one, and the mysteries of our master Thaleron for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow. You mean you don't already know, comrade? Their kind can see in the dark. It ain't natural. Fella seems like a humble doctor, but I bet my sword he's dealing in something darker in splints and tonics. A loose-lipped fishmonger let slip that she'd seen our good doctor scale the city wall on 2 separate occasions, well past midnight each time. What business could he have among the undead? Hardly the habit of an innocent healer, I'd say. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the mayor's a decent sort. But from what I've heard whispered around the docks, the old guy's gotten himself mixed up in something not quite on this side of the law. I suspect an illegal source, artifact, or substance is at the root of it, but exactly what or who's given it to him, I can't say. And since I haven't technically been assigned to Sicile, I don't have the authority to interrogate him. Well, you know the old expression. 2's a tea party, 3's an invasion. I know this place like the back of my hand by now. And the orcs up north will be short work for a trained-up trio of sauce hunters.
A fantastic plan. With 3 source hunters working in tandem, we'll put an end to all the evils bent against this fair land.
Another source hunter on the team will make us all the more formidable against this wicked magic. Welcome aboard, Medora.
That's the spirit. Listen closely now. Do you hear it? That's the sound of every orc and sorcerer in a 100-mile radius shaking in his wee boots.
Old friends. Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've come to my match is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's growing more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investigation, but I can't open this door for anyone who hasn't received Captain Aureus' explicit approval. Not exactly the friendliest bloke, the Captain, is he? Well, your reward for getting your ear chewed off is a waltz through the town's finest magical murder scene. Enjoy.
What happened? Is this a dream?
I don't think so. That stone. Somehow it sent us flying into the stars.
Terrible, terrible, terrible! It will consume us all! By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? 2 Rivalonians here? At the end of space and time? How very, very, very curious. Perhaps my newfound comrade, but that is hardly our chiefest concern. We stand on a tiny vestige of space and time, and the ground is fast shrinking beneath our feet. It's good you appeared, however you did it, precisely when and where you did, or you might have found yourself free floating in empty space. Oh, but I suppose I should make a proper introduction. Zigzax the historian at your service. It is my job to record all that was and is, and hopefully all that is to be. Ah, at last a question I can answer most definitively. I mentioned already that this place is the end of time. If that didn't send your heart into your stomach and your pulse a-flutter, it should have. Time ought naturally to have no end at all. Indeed, I can think of no worse nightmare for a chronicler such as myself. But something totally, utterly terrible has happened. Show, don't tell, I always say. So go, peer through yonder looking lens, and feast your soon-to-be terrified eyes on the darkness that is approaching.
Might be quite mad.
Then we better appease him and have a look through the looking lens.
You saw. Terrifying, isn't... What's this? The portal. It's... The portal! It's quite sprung to life, just like the long, dormant flames that decorate this observatory. You, dear stranger, you must be the key. Something about your presence here is causing the end of time to grow. The true end itself to move further away. Those torches, a light! This portal active once more! Goodness me, how right you are! There's so much to take in, I'd nearly forgotten. And what you saw has been haunting my mind since I first discovered it. It is the void itself. The dragon that is devouring creation. When I speak of the end of time, this is exactly what I mean. I can't say for sure where it came from, how or why, but I do know this. It's shrinking our future by the second. And if we don't stop it, it will devour the past and present as well. It's not that I believe, it's that I have seen. Long have I been waiting here, hoping that one day this very portal would ignite. Then, no longer than a few mere moments after you arrive, zap it goes. The chronicler of time knows a pattern when he sees one. Ah, though I cannot say for certain, if it is what I believe, then our prayers might well be answered. In fact, every last question that ever plagued your noggin might well be answered, for I believe what lies beyond this portal is nothing other than... But why spoil the mystery? As soon as we leap through, we'll find out for certain. After you, after you. Oh, what wonders we may find on the other side. You first, but don't dilly-dally. Yes, just as I hoped. There she is, there it is. Come, don't delay.
And he's off.
It seems the imp has spotted exactly who and what he'd hoped to find here.
I am the last test. The last test. The last test! If you believe yourself worthy of rifling through my ample treasures, I do dare you to prove it! Find my 4 sisters, no more than one in each of the realms of your wide world, and each by each, you'll discover how to open me!
Could it be, milady? The Weaver of Time?
Indeed, Sir Imp. As surely as you are he who chronicles all that I weave.
Astounding! Unbelievable! I have so many questions for you.
You have brought guests, I see. Strange. Very strange guests.
My reaction exactly, milady. It was their arrival here at the end of time that instigated my finding you. But why? Surely you must know.
This is a question better put to our guests themselves. Tell us, how did you arrive upon this plane? A stone? So, it was a stone that caused the great shock of energy that brought you here, and it infused you with new life as well. Is that so? Not like this, no. What happened to you is unique in all my work. Never had I experienced something so contrary to my nature. To weave something I had not seen, had not expected. Life does not simply spring into existence, you see, but yours has. You appeared before me from the moment you came into contact with that stone. Starstone. I now know it to be called.
But, Madam Weaver, how is it possible? Do you not see all?
Like the stones, your guests are a mystery to me. I see them before me in this world, But their likenesses appeared not upon my tapestry until they revived the stone. Source Hunters. It would seem that yourselves and Starstone are inextricably linked. Why and how, I cannot say, but I do believe that finding more stones will reveal to me who you yourselves truly are. Starstone is not what it seems, Source Hunter. Its true nature must be part of a greater secret, a secret lost, even to me. Do you see what violence my work has suffered? What wounds lay upon the tapestry of time?
Mysteries of all time.
It would appear that Starstone transforms at your touch, granting me new thread by which to mend the tapestry. Thus, it restores time itself.
I see. What the void would shrink, Starstone restores.
Yes. Though I cannot explain why this If we do not restore time, if we do not discover the true nature of these stones, the void will consume us all. Indeed you must, though I may not yet understand why. It seems that you and you alone can unlock the powers within Starstone. Yet we are not the only entities who know these stones to be so much more than pretty gems.
Why, of course, that's what they were doing. I have recorded their doings, you see. Collectors of Starstone, more and more by the day. Now I understand.
Without these stones, Hunter, there will be no Rivellon. The entire tapestry will crumble. Even this plane will fall victim to the void's insatiable hunger.
That shall never be, milady. Please, our most mysterious guest, are you ready? Are you willing? Will you hunt out the stones?
Heard any good tales, my friend?
Not but a moment ago, we were hunting Source in Rivellon, and now we're being told that we alone can prevent the end of time by way of some magical stones. What do you make of it?
Say what Zigzags and the Weaver will. I need more evidence before I'll buy into this wild tale.
Spot on! Praise be that we, at least, are still capable of rational thinking. We seem to be the only ones in the insane asylum at the end of bloody time.
Gaze and the set of your brow suggest to me that you've not given up on our dear old Rivellon. Not just yet. No, with you searching out Starstone, I believe we'll mend the tapestry in no time. But you'll need a way to travel between Rivellon and this homestead, won't you? Who wouldn't want to see what fantastic... Luckily, the power of portals is known to you, so I'll let you in on the little secret of how to transport back and forth from the end of time. Off you go, then. You've Starstone to find, and I've a tapestry to examine. Surely there must be some clue here as to how on earth you're related to the end of time. Cross my heart, hope to fade in the void, I honestly don't know. But ask her. If she claims it is so, perhaps she knows why. Before you go, Source Hunter, a final word. Once you return to Rivellon, there will be someone waiting for you. My agent. I hope he'll be able to help you as much as he can. Time, I need hardly remind you, is of the essence. A question has me stumped.
Source Hunters, I welcome you once again to the realm of Rivellon after your travels through the chasms of space. Nice to have found a shelter, wouldn't you agree? Where you can come to no harm. I know the imp historian has told you about his agent on Rivellon, and that agent is I. So now that you know of the alliance between me and Sir Zigzax, let us turn to the business at hand, and I'll be delighted to give it. Dark webs are being woven around these parts, and it is my firm belief starstones are the flies the sorcerer spiders are trying to catch. It can therefore hardly be a coincidence that Councillor Jake was a collector of the stones we seek. His foul murder and the plight of dying time must somehow be interconnected. That means the task you have been given remains crucial. Find the assassin that did away with Jake, for you're bound to stumble upon Starstone along the way. While you were being lectured by our friend the historian and the Grande Dame of Time, I snuck into his house and had a look around. The advantage of being a cat, you know. That's where I saw them in a cabinet. Mere slivers, but specks of starstones nonetheless. They lay there, silent and innocent. Don't we all long for a sanctuary where our worldly troubles can be held at bay? But perhaps I speak only for myself. Like any cat worth its salt, though, I deeply cherish a secret refuge unbeknownst to anyone. Let me phrase it like Zigzax might. A universe without time is like a pen without ink. A pointless instrument stripped of the potential of creation. I'll not pretend to have all the answers, or that I understand all that is happening here and out there among the stars, but I do know I'd rather err on the side of caution. If Zigzax worries, I worry. We are talking about a creature, after all, that has reclined among the divines as nonchalantly as you and I laze beside the hearths of home. I met him first, a long time ago, out in the wastes of Youthful Gore. So I told him who I was and showed him my human form. He laughed and marveled and told me stories about his travels. In the end, he even shared his great sorrow with me. The unspeakable thing you saw through his looking lens. Oh, before you go, here, take this teleporter pyramid. A handy toy indeed that Zigzax asked me to give to you. You'll need the other one too if you want to make use of its powers, but alas, I seem to have misplaced it. Don't worry though. Use this one here and it'll take you straight to its twin. Now that this matter has been settled, hunters, I shall detain you no longer. But rest assured, I'll do my share of hunting too.
Ah, how intolerable it is to think that all the knowledge of the world is being gathered by an imp. A creature that is no more than the result of a demon's bowel movement imbued with the breath of life. And yet I am a tad jealous of that jabbering little jester. To know all. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished. You'll rue the day you lend your trust to anything that is demon-touched. But this particular specimen, it delights in scholarship. A quality, I must admit, that highly speaks to its advantage. Let us learn, Hunter, whether you like it or not, and through wisdom grow ever more mighty.
Unknown to all time, are you? Leave it to an imp to try to fill our minds with all manner of magical gobbledygook. I'll tell you who you are. Source hunters, members of the most esteemed order in Rivellon. Here to find out and grind out every last speck of dark magic in the realm. There, the enigma is solved. I knew you weren't the type to be taken in by such high-flying, pie-in-the-sky nonsense. Let the magical history imps fly their floating islands into the end of time for all we care. Then again, if what he says is true, and he really does know everything, he might be a mighty powerful ally to have. Imagine! Sorry, Zaxix, I haven't fixed your space carpet, but if you could tell me where the bearded source dragon of Fire Lake has made its nest, I'd be obliged. Useful indeed.
Oh, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah.
Gods! What is going on here? First I have to shoo away a creeping white tomcat, and now there's a perfect stranger in my bathroom. Get out, will you? A magical pyramid, eh? Frivolous and lecherous magic, more like. Leave my house, afore the divines punish you for your aberrant ways. No, if you please. This room is private. If she soaks in flower stink much longer, deer will smell this lady from a field away.
Don't just stand
There's
there.
a leg of something good for when she begins to starve. Away with you!
Why don't you join her? Not for any titillating reasons, but because you could do with a dab of floral perfume about that quaintly odorous physique of yours. Interesting devices, these pygmies among pyramids. They may be small of stature, but their potential is gigantic. Deceivingly clever. It is a trait all demonic machinations share. You do well to treat them with the utmost care. Perhaps it would even be for the best if you sling them into the reaches of infinity that surround the shelter plane. Better safe than sorry. It is an uncommonly trite thing to say, but it applies to all things demon-dreamt and devised. How I pity you. You have a mouth, but do not taste. Eyes, but do not see. Ears, but do not hear. So let me state this clearly, Hunter, that you must always remember, always, that when demons are in play, you are the hunted, and that it takes stupendous cunning and strength to escape their snares. The very moment you are certain you have them in your grip, that is the moment their traps spring, and it is their grip that shatters your soul. Dueling with demons is like playing chess against an opponent with queens for pawns. They sit and grin while your pieces slip in the sweaty fear that drops from your beleaguered brow.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
Actually, I think that's
You'll
only
be
roast
concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
This time.
Ah, what have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Oh, stand still then, if you don't mind. I want to take a good long look at the so-called savior of Sicile. Tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face, quite classical, isn't it? Statue, and my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say, can it be? You're exactly the person I've been searching for. That I have. For nearly a lifetime, it seems. Well, I'm sure you must know what I mean. Like existence itself lacked a significant component? Like if you could only fill a certain void, could connect with the right body, the right spirit. Together you could uncover new and thrilling vistas. I believe I have found that component, that body, that spirit within you, Source Hunter. Come, if ever we are to be united, we must truly entwine our fates. Yes, You must join the Fabulous Five right away, as soon as time permits. Together, as a team, we'll explore the boundless realm before us. We'll uncover fate, inch by inch. I am Anna, jewel in the crown that is the Fabulous Five. I've cut 1,000 throats, and baked 1,000 bread rolls, stolen the crown jewels of the Queen of Arata, and, with my pockets full, helped her reach enlightenment. When the day comes that I die, the gods will evacuate the heavens to make space for my formidable collection of designer slippers. I contain multitudes, you see, and I am utterly replete. Except that... But then, Source Hunter, you wandered into this tavern, and I am most certain that that companion is you. Yes, I am part of that band of valiant heroes, and ever there must I remain. But you, my match, my soul's twin, may tie our fates together by similarly fighting under the banner of the Fabulous Five. You must speak with Mendius. He stands right outside this very tavern, and he alone can bring you into our illustrious fold. Then, my equal, friend of my body and mind, may we unite.
Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it quick. You're not the only fan who wants some of my time. What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of Vadistis. Although, it'd be worth checking the other side too, just in case. And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild by SideQuest Monthly. 3 years running. Your interest is piqued, I see. I'd suggest you have a chat with Mendius outside. He's in charge of recruitment and other such drudgery. A word of warning though, we only accept the best and the brightest. By the looks of you, I'm not sure you'll make the cut. Those nasty beasts are hardly worth my time. Though I suppose I'll step in if none of the recruits manage to prove adept enough to handle a few skeletons.
Ah, you return. Ah, you like nothing more. Of course, of course, of course.
Join a guild, better the world, earn a lot.
You'd fall for this foolish scheme. God, you're gullible.
We must think of our own future.
Are you telling me this is not the most double-faced guy you ever met?
No, we'll do as I say and there's an end to it.
Marvelous. Magnificent. Oh, but what am I saying? Fabulous is the word. You may not realize it yet, but your fortunes, your very life is about to change for the better. Oh, it's a pretty straightforward task, this one. Now, in this town dwells a wizard. Ahu is his name, and he's a frightful eccentric. Scientific type, you know the kind. Favors reason over faith and all that. Not Fabulous Five material, him. One of them was a big lumbering apparatus. A frightful automaton shaped like a giant made of steel. It was supposed to crush the undead by the dozens, piloted as it was by a trained legionnaire. But you can guess what happened. Did it become sentient? Was it cursed? Whatever the cause, the thing relieved itself of its pilot and headed north towards a network of caves. Luckily, there are those in this world who belong to the Fabulous Five. The braves who eat such monstrosities for breakfast. Go, my friend. Find this wizard's abomination and claim your just reward from Mayor Cecil in the name of our hallowed guild. Easy money. Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient arcane secrets.
Greetings, traveler. And may the Immaculate Conduit's myriad blessings comfort and cradle you. Tell me, have you yet heard the revelation? You mean you haven't heard? Oh, what fortune that I may share the goddess's salvation with one who has, as yet, been lost. Steel yourself, friend, for your mortal spirit could be forever transformed from this moment forth by following her instructions and becoming initiated into the one way we can each of us live on for a span greater than the number of stars that twinkle within the goddess's right eye. Ah, for this hallowed information, you must seek an immaculate chapel. Go north, friend, through the forest and into the town of Silverglen, where all may be revealed. There, among her followers and friends, dwells the goddess's ecstasy, her one way. She came from on high to we mortals and showed us the path to the goddess. She showed us that injury and malady need not mark the end of life, but that through her methods we could ascend to greater life in service of the goddess. What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin equal in the conduit's eyes, and only through great deeds may enter into her inner ring. Go on the path to the righteous, my friend.
He says he's an immaculate. But I thought they'd been banished after the death of the Source King.
Those are like corpses among necromancers, girl. Sooner or later, they
Guess
get
someone else
uprooted.
got here first.
And usually they're a damn sight more ugly than they were in the first place. And so we meet yet another adulterous harpy. No doubt she's guilty as sin.
A Wolverine would have a more forgiving fuse.
So, what's the bad news? Looks like the mortician has reason to suspect. Ooh!
The death man is nervous as a squirrel. I'm certain he's hiding something.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death? This here's my family business. Yes, there's been a Roberts escorting stiffs into the next life since the foundation of Seal itself. Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like. I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. Ah, the ledger, is it? Fool was I to leave it in the open. Or perhaps I even looked forward to being found out. Well, as you know, I have my suspects in the matter. What would you like to know? Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know. And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains. Can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't. I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without raising eyebrows. It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary, and there was something about her that night, some kind of excitement. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts, that there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange reaction to an occasion such as that. And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole, but her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed eager. I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlor. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched, lured me outside claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda. That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. You know, I reckon Bertia really didn't get a fair shake in all this, did she? Here, take the money and give it to her. Times are hard enough as they are.
Looks like that dog is awfully active.
Hey! Wow! I was wondering where that awesome sweaty boot smell was coming from. And here you are! Wow! This is great! I'm Murphy, Jake's dog. Wow! You smell great! Have you been rolling around on dead things all day? That's my favourite hobby too. You know who I miss? Jake. Sometimes he'd just sit there being awesome. And I'd give him this look like, you smell great. And he'd give me this look like, you do too, Murphy. And he was my best friend. I came here so I could smell Jake again. He smelled great. But whatever's buried there doesn't smell like Jake at all. No, it's definitely not Jake. He was awesome. If I ever find out who killed Jake, the most awesome Jake who ever jaked, I'll bark so much! Seriously, so much! You have no idea!
Here lies Jake. Please do not disturb. Here lies Kavanagh. Will they have Sicil pie in the afterlife?
This dog we met, how true a creature he is. How loyal and unwavering in its affections. His master is dead, but not even this, not even nature's great betrayal of life, stops his warm-heartedness from beating.
Are you playing without me?
animals. Dog and deer, elk and eagle. We burden and butcher them, wretches that we are. This kind, this trusty beast. He is man's best friend, though man does not deserve one.
Jake, where are you? Are you here, Jake?
Rest in peace,
Jake!
darling.
You are not of the same mind because you are human, all too human. And deep down you place trust in your fellows. But one day, a stab in the back will tell you I am right. I know. For I have lain on silken cushions in marble palaces, and I have lain on wet leaves in soggy forests. Vastly do I prefer the latter. In the animal kingdom only, one is free. Beware the wolf, yes, beware the bear. But their rules are honest. The kingdoms of man, they are built upon the blood of the ones not strong enough to lay claim to power. This dog, it is a creature worthy of your affection. The ones you see around you, the men and women of this world, they are not.
What surgery is this? That's not Jake.
Where are you?
It's a rotting sheep's
Are you
corpse.
here, Jake?
It seems someone snatched Jake's body.
May the Seven keep you.
soaked to the skin!
Grass beneath trembles with my power.
sodding all the way to my foot soles.
See the white light.
You see a shady-looking figure fishing coins of gold out of the muddy water that pools beneath the well overhead. His movements are quick and nervous, but nevertheless, he seems to enjoy stuffing what cash he can find into the many pockets of his shabby garb. So absorbed is he in his coin holding that at first he doesn't notice your presence. Suddenly, though, he pauses, looks up, and quick as a cat its talons, readies 2 daggers. Your friendly tone of voice has immediate effect. The man quickly relaxes his aggressive stance, sheathes his weapons, and pulls a quill and a scrap of parchment out of one of his pockets. Dexterously, he writes down a couple of phrases, then holds it out for you to read.
Mute, can't speak. You look professional. You the source hunter the wizard asked for?
Excitedly, the man turns over the scrap and pens a few more lines.
Name's Walgraf. I admire you. No hero like source hunter. Siceil, dead end. Please let me join you.
Walgraf nods enthusiastically and pulls a couple of ripped parchment pieces out from his vestments. Hastily, he covers them with words and pushes them in your hands, one after the other.
Been mute since I was a kid. Sorcerers took my voice. People think I'm stupid. I'm not. Get money, food where I can. Steal if I must. Not from poor folks. I'm a good sneak, good fighter, good with locks. See things you don't. Want to help you. I'm useful. Want to catch sorcerers. Make 'em pay. Please.
Walgraf eagerly catches your gaze with the best puppy eyes imitation he can muster.
I could use someone with your specific type of expertise. Consider yourself hired.
Be welcome, Walgraf. Riches await, if you'll obtain them for us.
Walgraf smiles and shakes your hand in thanks. With a gesture of the arm, he seems to say, "I'm ready. Lead the way."
What a deluge!